Hey everyone, welcome back to the middle of nowhere. This is I don't know how many takes I've tried to film this video, but this is going to be the final attempt. I'm finally getting to talk about the bone ships. It was supposed to be a halfway point of book one while we read it in the month of August. You can tell that this video is being filmed towards the end of September. I'm currently in the middle of book two, which is Call of the Bone Ships. I'd reached out to others to share their thoughts with me. So let me get into some of these takes. The first take was perfect. It couldn't have gone any smoother. It was beautiful in my head. When I uploaded it, if you don't know, I use my phone to film my videos. It just makes for a clearer image for me, and I've just found it pretty convenient. Anyways, that being said, I filmed the whole thing and it was gorgeous. It worked great. Then I uploaded it to my computer for the editing, and it said it was like a 45-minute video. As you know, I am not that long-winded. I guess maybe a little bit. My monotone voice might put you to sleep. Then again, I'm still not giving you a 45-minute video. Maybe 5-10 minutes. But I somehow bumped my watch, because that's how I control the video. So I can sit in my comfy chair like this, take a nap, whatever I want to do. And I must have bumped a setting or something, because it went to slow-mo. How? I don't know. I didn't think I could do that through my watch. I thought I had to do that directly on my phone. Needless to say, I've mentioned it before, everything was in slow motion. The next take, I was sick and I lost my voice a little bit and had a little bit of a cold, and it just didn't come out well. Third attempt, the dog. And there were several attempts before that just because I didn't care for it. That being said, we are now on this attempt, and we're going to talk about the bone ships. But before I get any farther, I want to share the two people who shared their thoughts with me to the halfway point at this point, in this point of the video. And that's from Nick, who is a great follower. He uplifts me. He's always commenting, always watching the videos, supporting me from step one. And I'm very thankful to Nick. And so I definitely want to get his thoughts in this video. So this is from Nick on his thoughts of the bone ships. I want to start by saying thank you, George, for introducing me to R.J. Barker's work. I've got quite a few of his books, but they've been sitting on my TBR for a while. So it was great to finally take my maiden Barker voyage with this read-along of the bone ships. From the outset, the book really delivered for me, and it was everything I was expecting from hearing George wax lyrical about the author. I immediately loved the prose, tone, characters, and the world setting. There's a lot of world terminology to take on board, particularly relating to the nautical setting, and you're really thrown in at the deep end. But it's nicely woven into the story, as it's being told from Joran Twiner's third-person past tense perspective, and it helps to immerse you as a reader into Joran's world. The intro to the story is great. It whets the appetite with interesting characters and the setting. A little bit of action and some questions to answer. So it had me hooked straight away. Some of the passages were simply superb, and I liked how Barker weaves nautical language into descriptions and character thoughts and emotions. For example, I liked the description of the crew moaning and creaking like the ship, and later, standing as slack and bleak as their fates when Mies arrives and starts shouting at them. I also like all the nautical superstitions and rules. You're really living and breathing life on the sea through all your senses with this book. The regular references to Joran's late father are great, and I enjoyed how Barker uses Joran's memories of his father to world build in a natural way by weaving them into the narrative at appropriate points. The many phrases involving the hag, maiden, and mother deities were another great way of adding believable, authentic color to the world and the culture, which I really appreciated, like seasickness being described as suffering the hag's curse. The characters are brilliant in this book. I'm loving how we're gradually unpeeling the layers to discover more about Joran and Mies. And the supporting cast is full of interesting motley crew types as well as some very intriguing non-humans, particularly the Guillaume and the hilarious Oris. The action in the Bone Ships is a breathtaking assault on all the senses, and the plot has layers and layers of intrigue. But it's the prose and storytelling which is really doing it for me the most. There are moments of hard-hitting impact which have sent shivers down me timbers from the tidal waves of emotion. I'm so glad I've finally taken the plunge with a book by R.J. Barker and can't wait to read the rest of this series. So, Nick, I can't say enough about him. He's a wonderful, wonderful human being. And I agree with everything that he says. The Bone Ships it throws you right into the story right from the get-go, using the terminologies and the characters and everything and being immersed into their world. But it is fantastic. It will feel a little jarring at the beginning, but as you keep reading, it just becomes a natural way of thinking and speaking, and you are fully immersed into the story, and you know exactly what they're going through, and you feel like as if you're a part of the crew. And to me, that was one of the most amazing things. Like, the ship is contained. Like, it's hard to get a lot going on when you're in the middle of a broad ocean on one ship. But R.J. Barker does a fantastic job. I never felt bored while they were working the ship, even while they were traveling from point A to point B. And that was one of my favorite parts about it, is that it flowed so smooth. I also have a submission submitted by the wonderful Esme, who also is a great supporter and reads books faster than I can think. I'm sure in the time that it took me to film this video, she has now finished her 100th novel of the day. This is what she had to say. I had always heard that this series was so intimidating because R.J. Barker just throws you straight into the deep end. And while that is true, I don't think it's intimidating at all. If anything, Barker has piqued my curiosity and captured my imagination in a way that very few other authors can. The introduction of all of the characters was absolutely phenomenal, and I really like that we are following such an eccentric group of outlaws who all have their own emotional baggage. The first half of this book has been relatively low on the action, and there's not a clear direction of plot yet. But because Barker is so good at dropping tantalizing bits of information at just the right times, I'm still absolutely enthralled. I also love the atmospheric and intimate setting on the ship, because there's just so much potential for conflict, and that has me glued to the page. I already have a list of theories started as to what exactly is going on and where things will go, though I have a feeling that most of them are wrong anyway, because Barker's wild imagination is just unmatched. This is my 4th book I am reading by him, and I can now truly say that he is one of my favorite authors. His storytelling is pure magic to me, and I can't wait to see where things will go from here. Esme also hits the nail on the head. Like, it's not intimidating. It seems so just like in the first chapter or two because of all the different terms. So they call captains shipwives and deck child instead of crew. And so it just takes a little bit of adjusting and thinking in a different term. But once you get into it, it just flows so smooth. And then you catch on really fast. By 2 or 3 chapters in, it'll just feel natural. I know Esme's already finished book 2. I'm currently reading it. I'm curious to see if any of her theories have held true through the second book that she had halfway through the first. But I appreciate her offering her take on halfway through book 1. With that being said, I did finish The Bone Ships in August. It was my book of the month. This was a reread. I had read book 1 previously, so I knew what was going on, but it was great to go back and read it again. And nothing will get the hair on the back of your neck standing up as when you read about Keyshawn Rising. You have to read the book to understand what's going on with that phrase. But I highly, highly recommend this book. The world building is superb. You're immediately drawn in, and you will immediately become hooked with Joran Twiner and Lucky Mies. We are continuing with it. You still have time. in September, we are reading book 2. They read very quickly, especially with how immersed you get. And then you can join us in book 3 in the month of October. I also want to, I don't know that the author will watch this video, but I want to give a special thank you. He took the time, just an hour of his time, to come and answer our questions on the Page Turner Discord. To me, it was a wonderful experience, and I loved being able to just see the passion that R.J. Barker has for the writing, and that he tried to give back to us as readers in a small way. The questions are still on the Page Turners Discord, so if you're curious to see what we asked, as well as what his answers were, feel free to come on in, hang out with us, and you can see what we were saying on the read-along discussion. Anyway, guys, this is my video for the Bone Ships. Hopefully everything turns out. If it's in slow motion, that just might be what you get. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. Always love to hear about it. End of the YouTube jabber jabber. As always, guys, happy reading and stay great.